and welcome back for yet another edition of Above the Net. I'm your host, Lexi Ayala, alongside state champs volleyball analyst Vince Muscat. This program is presented by Lawrence Technological University. You can recruit yourself by going to ltuathletics.com. On the podcast version of Above the Net, state champs' own Lauren Plant talked with DMC sports medicine physician on volleyball injuries and prevention. We'll give you a snippet of that conversation in a little bit, but first, let's recap the games state champs covered throughout the week. And we start with the Beast of the East tournament that was at Schoolcraft College. In the final, we had the defending Division I state champs Bloomfield Hills Marion taking on the defending Division II state champs in Grand Rapids Christian. Marion was on their game as they swept GR Christian in 2 sets.
First of all, what a great tournament. A lot of top teams in the state, as we've talked about over the last couple weeks and highlighting the event. Grand Rapids Christian came out. It was a back and forth battle. We knew that we had to defend Evie Dozma. She's a Miss Volleyball candidate, going to Michigan State, and Marion did a great job of doing that. Marion's offense is fast. We kind of have a philosophy that the ball is faster than people, and so when we're in system, we're really hard to stop, and on that day we were very hard to stop. For Marion, we always talk about our offensive firepower, and I think last week I highlighted a key part to, if we're going to be successful, this is the player that I think could carry us over the top, and Lauren Hemming was amazing. She made me look like a genius last week. She was just all over the back row, digging balls. Her serve receive was up probably a full 0.25 points, and she played amazing on the day.
Next, we go to the west side of the state as we had Forest Hills Eastern going on the road to take on the Cougars from Grand Rapids Catholic Central.
Yeah, Forest Hills Eastern is led by senior outside hitter Carly Kennett. She does a really nice job of controlling the ball offensively. And then sophomore libero Hope Davies is another player to look out for when you watch those guys. Grand Rapids Catholic Central is they're putting a really good season together. They've been in the top 10 from MIVCA and Prep Dig over the course of the season. I think right now they're ranked number 5 in both of them. Catholic Central is led by libero Sierra Nasida and setter Kaylin Anschutz. Really does a nice job as a setter and is a big part of why this team is a top 10 team.
And we had a first place battle in the Southeastern Conference. Ann Arbor Skyline was at home to take on the Saline Hornets.
Saline had a really strong showing at the Beast of the East. They lost, I believe, in the first round against Forest Hills Northern, who had a great tournament there. They are led by outside hitter Anna Hesse and sophomore outside Catherine Flaherty. And their sophomore middle we've highlighted her. Mallory Bowl does a really nice job blocking and very formidable at the net. For Skyline, there's Harper Murray. She's one of the few players in the state that can just single-handedly take over a match. She's a scary player to play against.
And that's hard to do in volleyball.
Oh, for sure, because it's such a team sport, but Harper can reel off 5-6 serves in a row, and all of a sudden your team's down 5 or 6 points. Senior right side, 6'4" right side, Kari Baum can shut down team's top outside hitter. To have a big 6'4" right side up against a 0-1 is a difference maker for the team. And then senior setter Lauren Lee, she handles the offense for Skyline. I think the big key for Skyline as we head into the state tournament is going to be, how is their ball control going to hold up? Are they going to be able to pass serve and get their hitters the ball, get Harper the ball in an aggressive offense instead of just setting her out of system? So that's going to be a big key for them.
This program is also brought to you by the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Officials are in need and invite you to check out being an official. It's great part-time pay and you can stay in the game. Go to MHSAA.com for details. Help wanted, just whistle. Above the Net is also brought to you by the men and women that make up the physical therapy and sports medicine teams of the Detroit Medical Center. This week, state champs Lauren Plant talked volleyball-specific injuries and how to handle them with Dr. Brendan Kakos. Here's some of that conversation.
What are some of the common volleyball injuries that you see in your practice?
Yeah, so in my practice, I think if we just kind of go down a little bit, ankles, we see ankle sprain, some looseness in the ankle, we call it laxity. The knee injuries, ACL, which is the anterior cruciate ligament, is a very important stabilizing ligament for the knee. Patellar tendonitis, some issues with the kneecap as well. Your low back, so back spasms and even stress fractures. Finger sprains, finger dislocations. But the overriding thing that's kind of interrelated between all of them is really overuse. And so overuse is when you kind of perform the same activity over and over again and not really giving your body and your joints and your muscles and your ligaments a chance to kind of rest and recover. That's what kind of predisposes you to getting injured. And so I always preach this a lot with the patients I see on a daily basis, right? We want to make sure that we're increasing the intensity of our activity, how hard we're going, the duration, how long per day, and the frequency, how many times per week, at an appropriate level to allow your body to acclimate to that load. If you don't do that, that's what predisposes us to getting injured. And that's kind of an overriding thing. And even prior to the pandemic, we were seeing overuse injuries, but obviously I think that accentuated it when there was interruptions in play and we all wanted to get back to kind of our pre-pandemic level of activity. And so sometimes we just have to be very mindful not to do that too quickly, too fast to give ourselves the best chance to be injury-free.
You can listen to the entirety of that interview by checking out the audio podcast of Above the Net, wherever you get your podcasts. As we wrap up the show, let's take a look at our State Champs Super Top 10 rankings, and we do have a new #1 team in the state.
We talked over the last couple of weeks how the tournament, the Beast of the East tournament, would probably change some things in the rankings in our top 10. And Marion went through the tournament and played almost flawless, didn't drop a set. And that's why they moved up to #1. You've got Hudsonville at #2, who had a win last week against Rockford, beat them in 4. You got Rockford, who finished 3rd at the Beast of the East, gave Marion their toughest match. I think they got in the 20s twice and really are a dangerous team going into the state tournament. Notre Dame Prep, who had a loss, they lost to Mercy at the tournament. They dropped to 4. You've got Skyline, who continues to play well. Grand Rapids Christian, who's going to be tough in Division II, who finished 2nd at the Beast of the East. You've got Northville, Country Day, Forest Hills Northern, and then Mercy had a great tournament led by Campbell Flynn and Ella Craggs. They're freshmen, dynamic athletes, and they moved up to #10.
And they're new in these rankings, right?
They are.
Good for them. Well, that's all we have for you on this week's edition of Above the Net. We're going to be heading into the final week of the regular season, and then it's playoff time. For Vince Muscat, I'm Lexi Ayala. We'll see you later.
State Champs Above the Net is presented by Lawrence Technological University. LTU offers 24 varsity sports, including women's volleyball, along with several dozen world-class undergraduate programs. Athletic and academic scholarships are available in all sports. Visit LTUathletics.com and recruit yourself. Above the Net is also brought to you by the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The Michigan Army National Guard, proud sponsor of the MHSAA. Detroit Medical Center Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. Do you have a sports injury or are you just looking to take your game to the next level? Go where the pros go. Visit dmc.org/gamechangers.